maybe someone from Thailand goes to a monster truck rally in America and takes 3 weeks to figure out what the hell they just saw.
Well, I would.
Oh.
Oh. This one time.
So, this one time.
This one time?
You know what? This one time.
This one time.
Oh my God, this one time?
The podcast.
Yeah, that's not a good funny story show there on the show.
It says you're... Whatever. Never mind.
Greetings from Bangkok, Thailand. In just a moment, a story from something that happened to me earlier this year in Thailand. But before we get there, hello, my lover.
Hello, baby. And hello, everyone. I'm Sheila D.
And I am Evo Terra.
And have we got a story for you?
Here's something that I realized as we wind down the year of 2016. As I was going through making show notes for last week's episode of the Bangkok podcast, the podcast that I do with Greg Jorgensen, which is about two expats, one from Canada, one from America, living in Bangkok, experiencing the world here. We were talking about magic, mysticism, and mana was the title of the show. Talking about superstitious beliefs here in Thailand. And we talked briefly about the Sak Yant Tattoo Festival.
Yes.
Well, the Sak Yant Tattoos and the Sak Yant Tattoo Festival that I went to back earlier this year. And I thought during the show notes I would put a link to the episode of this podcast, cross-podcast pollination, if you will.
Right.
Promotional stuff. Put a link to the show that we recorded where I talked about the Sak Yant Tattoo Festival. And we never did a show about the Sak Yant Festival. No.
Really?
Really. I completely neglected. I wrote an article about the Sak Yant Tattoo Festival, but we never actually recorded a podcast about it.
That is very strange.
Let's fix that problem, shall we?
I can't contribute much on this because I didn't go.
I know you didn't, but I also don't think that I explained all that much to you about what happened because I was still processing.
Right.
It was one of those super intense things that's tough to explain. So let me explain to our listener, and then you can ask me some questions about what happened here. So briefly, the Sak Yant tattoos, which I want to call Yak Sant, but that's Yak Sant, which is stupid. It's Sak Yant. Or is it the other way? Hell, I always forget. Anyhow, they are bamboo tattoos.
Yes.
A monk hammers them into your skin as if someone was playing pool on your skin over and over and over again, and they make these little designs.
What's the bamboo part of it?
The stick itself that the sharp thing is attached to is a stick of bamboo. So it's not a...
Right.
It's
all manual. Right.
Over and over again. And this doesn't actually quite do justice to the sound that it makes when it goes in your skin, which sounds like this. Yeah, nothing. I mean, you really can't mix it. Anyhow, you go get a Sak Yant tattoo if you're a tourist because Angelina Jolie has one. If you are Thai, it's because you believe that they will imbue you with magical powers. Totally not kidding on that.
And each one has their own magical specific power, right?
That is correct. And you don't get to ask the tattoo artist, also called a monk, which tattoo... You don't get to ask for that monk to do a particular tattoo on you. The monk chooses the tattoo that you need. He peers into your soul, I guess, and determines you need the warrior tattoo.
Do they believe in the soul?
I don't know. I'm just saying they peer inside your inner essence, that which is uniquely you.
Into my guts.
Yes, they do. They slice you open, lay out your entrails. They eat guts a lot here. Big fan of pig guts.
As a vegetarian.
I had some pig intestine the other day that was...
Okay, back to your story.
Anyhow. The monk determines the tattoo that you need. You sit down, and the monk jabs this thing over and over again in your back, and ta-da, you got a tattoo. The tattoo festival takes place at Wat Bang Phra, which is north of Bangkok about, well, I would say 50 kilometers, but I know what happened last week. My 50 kilometers were like 100 kilometers. So it's like 6 parsecs north of Bangkok and where Wat Bang Phra is, and hundreds of people show up on Friday night to get new Sak Yant tattoos. So Ric and I, Ric Gazarian from Global Gaz, and also the Counting Countries podcast.
You are cross-pollinating.
I am like a bee. I am like Dr. Mendel. Wait, Mengel. Mengel or Mendel? One of them was the geneticist, and the other one was the evil geneticist, the plant guy, not Nazi. Whichever one I'm thinking of. I am like him, cross-pollinating. Ric Gazarian and I get in a taxi, drive up to Wat Bang Phra to enjoy the festival.
Right.
Which we got there at like 5 o'clock at night, and there are already hundreds of people sitting on the floor waiting for these monks to jab them repeatedly with sharpened sticks on the end of bamboo poles.
Now, you told me something about, like, you and I both have tattoos.
Right.
And is there a chance, let's say you believed in all of the mysticism and things like that.
Yes.
Was there one thing that you saw while you were there and people getting tattoos that would make you go, yeah, I'm not doing that?
Yes.
And that would be?
Well, that would be so one of the things about having a tattoo is, being sterile. Sterility, keeping the viruses and the bad shit at bay is a smart thing, right? So no autoclaves to be seen. Autoclave is what the tattoo needles and other equipment is baked in at a super high temperature to kill off the bacteria and the viruses. Right. No autoclaves in sight. Lots of alcohol dipping, which is okay. It's definitely not autoclaving. There's a certain amount of time, but whatever. So they did at least clean the sharpened metal bits, and by sharpened I mean with an emery cloth.
Really?
Actually sharpened the pokey thing with an emery cloth in between people.
The pokey thing.
It's not a needle. That's the thing. It's a piece of sharpened metal that gets affixed to the end of a bamboo stick.
The pokey thing is such a technical term.
The pokey thing was sharpened with an emery cloth and then dipped for seconds into some alcohol.
Okay.
Great. So let's assume for a moment that actually did the sterilization. And then dips into the inkwell and then jabs the next person in line. Now, that inkwell I just mentioned is the same exact inkwell that the prior person had been jabbed with. So it's a mixture of ink and body fluids like blood primarily. That does not get clean. So chances are, no, not a sterile environment. So hell knows I was not getting it for that reason. Anyhow, that was Friday night. People lined up, sitting down quietly, getting this jabbing in. And occasionally, as the jabbing is continuing, occasionally you would hear this weird low growl on the other side of the room.
Never by you?
Well, not necessarily never by me, but when it first started happening, I wasn't sure what was happening until I actually got to witness it. In some cases, not all, but in, I will say, 1 out of 20, the tattoo actually begins possessing the body as soon as it is applied, or right after it's applied. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, you get these tattoos because your body needs that spirit power, and the spirit can actually take over. And so for some of the people, as soon as a tattoo is applied, the spirit comes alive, and they growl, or they rumble, or they shake, or they quiver, or something else, like Pentecostals gone mad. It's happening. But again, it's very light and very quiet. And so I had heard about the tattoos coming to life, and I thought, oh, that was interesting, but really, if that's it, that's kind of a letdown. Like Ayutthaya. No, not going back to last week's show. So that happened. We finally, we leave, we go to our hotel, we sleep, we get up super early the next day, and we come back to this place. And now, instead of hundreds of people waiting in the back of this temple to get tattooed, there are tens of thousands, and I am not exaggerating the number, sitting down like they're waiting for the Rolling Stones live at the park.
They're sitting down?
They are
waiting?
sitting down,
Okay.
cross-seated in a parking lot.
Oh, okay.
In this huge parking lot with this giant stage built. Huge parking lot, giant stage, tens of thousands. I will say at least 10,000. At a bare minimum, there were 10,000 people. Most of them men, but not all. A few women. Tattoo, or specifically the Sak Yant Tattoo aficionados, who had been tattooed previously, not that night, but for years back, sitting down, crisscross applesauce, facing a stage that has been built, on which there are a series of monks from the Wat that were at Wat Bang Phra, and two guys with microphones that are connected to loudspeakers the size of city buses, because this is Thailand, and anything worth saying must be said into an overmodulated microphone megaphone combination
That even hurts the guy speaking.
It sounds just like this the whole time.
So while I can understand it and you can understand it, the tattoo spirits can understand it, because every once in a while, out of the crowd, somebody would jump up and rush the stage because their body had been possessed by their tattoo. If they're possessed by the monkey, they would get up and hop, more like a frog than a monkey,
Really?
towards the stage, hopping over people. It might have happened some 40 meters or some 140 meters way out from the distance, and they will hop all the way through the stage over people. There are small little lanes they've established, but most of the time they just basically hop through and over people as they are making their way towards the guy on the stage, pissing off their spirit creature, I guess, with the microphone, till they run the stage.
Really?
And when they get to the stage, there's an army of 20 people or so out front, some of which like us Farang with cameras and microphones, capturing the sound. In fact, I have a sound clip that I'll play.
Oh, okay.
In fact, here's what it sounds like. Kind of creepy. That's what it sounds like when the ones that are possessed by the warrior decide to rush the stage en masse. When they get to the stage, we don't let them crawl up on the stage because I'm not sure what they would do to the guy with the microphone. There's about 20 or 30 security, quote unquote, officers there whose job is to capture the people that are rushing the stage.
Yeah.
And then stroke their ears until they calm down.
Their ears.
Stroke their ears.
That's what I'm going to start doing to you.
And that breaks them out of the spell. Were you going to stroke my ears when I get really pissed off?
Yes.
I'm not so sure that would work.
Do you think that'd make you more pissed off?
I'm relatively certain that might be the exact opposite of what needs to be done. But it works for these guys. They come rushing on stage, you know, like a game of Red Rover gone horribly bad. It's like Red Rover mixed with 28 Days Later.
So what are all the spirits? So you've got the monkey and the warrior.
Monkey, you got the warrior, you got an old man.
Yeah.
An old man who kind of bends over.
Rambles.
He kind of bends over and hustles and shuffles to the stage with this.
Why would you want that one? Why would that?
You don't want any of these. The monk is the one that decided to put them on you. What are you talking about? And this is Thailand. You can't fix Thailand. You take the tattoo you were given. There's a turtle. I didn't see any turtles. I didn't see what happens when somebody turns into a turtle and like, do they crawl? Does their head like shrink inside of their torso? That would be cool.
And is it a snapping turtle or?
Yep. Snapping turtle.
Okay.
That's the kind of turtle that it is.
Interesting.
There's a whole pantheon of critters you can get, but the prominent ones was the monkey and the warrior and the laughing old man. Those were maybe those are the only ones that are ambulatory and or activated during this particular festival. They are certainly the ones that are the most entertaining because they do something that's neat. Maybe the turtle just sits there and does what a turtle does. I mean, how friggin' exciting is a turtle? It's not. Like lamest pet ever.
I
Play fetch with your turtle.
Well,
yeah, I just threw the stick. I'll come back next week. Anyhow, that was Sak Yant. And when it got it was great when there was 1, 2, or 3 people rushing the stage at a time. But man, when they do it en masse, when like 100 decide at the same time to rush the stage, you really, truly feel like it's the zombie apocalypse.
Wow.
And they're just rushing at you. And it's the craziest thing. And it's happening in just a few months. I hope you're off that time so you can actually go up with me, because I think you would be totally amazed by
I'd like to go. I don't know when it is or anything like that.
It's like February or March, I think, is when it takes place. And it's north of town. It's really, really impressive. It's a thing that a lot of people that come to Thailand on vacation certainly don't do, because it's not front and center. I mean, people come here to get a tattoo, and this Wat is like the famous place to get the Yaksan tattoos. But this weekend, this Friday and Saturday event, it's not like it's advertised like a tattoo expo is in your hometown. Right. No billboards. And Sunday. No,
not
nothing.
At the convention center.
It's not at the convention center. This is at some shithole place way in the middle of nowhere. But it is definitely of the more interesting things. Couple that with Wat Bang Phra Festival and the silly vegetarian festival and Songkran.
So think about this. So we've been to those you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a festival like any of these that are on that massive, like, oh my God, I have to have time to process what I just saw?
Oh, you mean outside of Thailand? No, usually a festival, the word fest is
Right,
part of it. It's
right.
like, yay, we're going to go be festive about this. But this is this festival is more, jeez. No, it's tough. Yeah.
But all of them, I mean, all
Yeah.
of them are very intense
Right.
and very over the top.
And maybe if you have grown up in the culture, not so much.
Right.
I mean, who knows? Maybe someone from Thailand goes to a monster truck rally in America and takes 3 weeks to figure out what the hell they just saw.
Well, I would.
Oh. It's not as bad as Branson, Missouri, though.
You keep coming back to Branson. Thank you to our patrons for supporting us each and every month.
Thanks very much, patrons. If you want to go to patreon.com/OPPtravelers or shivo.wtf/postcards, we will send you a postcard every month, just like we do our patrons. Really, this is the only way the show makes money. No ads, no selling ourselves anymore. This is it. This is it.
I don't think I was selling myself.
You help fund our travels by going to patreon.com/optravelers or shivo.wtf/postcards. And in return, not only do we tell you awesome stories every month and you get to know you're a part of the show, but we will send you a postcard every month so you know how much we stinking love you.
Our music is by Valea Valea.
Thanks for listening, listeners. I am Evo Terra.
And I'm Sheila D.
For more information about us, where we're going to go, and holy crap, this is the last show before the end of the year.
Oh, it is.
2017 is right around the corner, kids. We'll take a little bit of a break and then come back with a lot more shows coming up. But yeah, you'll see it. But in the meantime, go to shivo.wtf to stay updated, get subscribed, and all that kind of fun stuff. Cool. Cool? Yes. Awesome. Cool. See you then. shivo.wtf.